New Balance recently announced the addition of All-American Cooper Flagg to the NB family, joining Cameron Brink and an elite player roster in the brand's mission of growing the game with the next generation of athletes. In part of New Balance's ongoing commitment to supporting athletes off the court, the Boston-based brand plans to work with Cooper on community initiatives in his home state of Maine. To shop the two-way V5, Hesi-Lo V2, and all New Balance basketball products, visit newbalance.com today.
These days, work is in trouble. We've outsourced most of our manufacturing to other countries, sending away good jobs and our capability to make things. American Giant is pushing back against that tide. They make the high-quality clothing staples you need for a comfortable, stylish, and active summer wardrobe, like vintage-style tees, breathable polos, lightweight sweatshirts, and so much more, right here in the USA. So when you buy American Giant, you create jobs in towns and cities across the country. And jobs bring pride, purpose. They stitch people together. Support America's workers and get 20% off your first order at american-giant.com with promo code STAPLE20. That's 20% off your first order at american-giant.com, code STAPLE20.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Renaker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another Dog Pack Discord episode previewing the Raiders game coming up here this coming Sunday, in which I will be in attendance, as long as, knock on wood, we got hurricane weather coming through, so when my flights are delayed, that would be deeper on the whole trip. I didn't buy the insurance for my ticket, so that would suck really bad. So let's hope the plane can still fly in a little bit of inclement weather, because that hurricane's coming up. We got a fun episode lined up for you guys today. We're going to have some Dog Pack members jumping in and giving us their thoughts on the Raiders and the Browns in general, what they want to see out of the team this week, how they want to see us bounce back after a disappointing loss to the Giants last week. A Giants team that seems to be giving the Cowboys all they can handle right now, so I guess that's a good thing. Maybe. I don't know what that says about us, because both of these teams smacked us. But I guess we'll see how the rest of this night goes over here on Thursday night. If you see me glancing over, it's because I have it up on my third screen. There's football on. I'm going to have it on. I can't help it. Very professional. As the kids would say, not demure. Did I use that right?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that means, bro.
If you want to get your intros and your voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. While you're there, you can check out the merch store. We got hoodies and t-shirts and a bunch of good stuff. You can also go to thedogspodcast.com/football and get a custom dogs podcast, Bad and Sports football. It's pretty cool for your man cave. So if that's something you're into, again, that's thedogspodcast.com/football. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss any of the new content we're putting out. We're doing preview episodes here on the Dog Pack. We're doing reaction episodes, usually Mondays after the game. Josh is putting out midweek content, kind of giving you up-to-date news on the team throughout the practice week. So you don't want to miss any of that stuff. So make sure you have the notification bell tapped to make sure you're subscribed. It helps the show out a ton. If you prefer to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms. Just search at The Dogs Podcast. Lastly, if you're looking for more dogs content, you want to be a part of the Dog Pack Discord episodes, you want to get your thoughts on the show, you want to hang out with guys from all over the world, you want to play fantasy football with the dogs, and just meet a bunch of cool people, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member, and maybe we'll see you guys in here in a Dog Pack Discord episode. It's a great time, a bunch of great people in here, guys and gals alike from all over. So again, that's jointhedogs.com to become an official Dog Pack member. So before we jump into our thoughts, I think we should just let Kenny Mack tell us what he's thinking for this week. So I know we have a voicemail from Kenny Mack, so let's just dive into that.
Yo, guys, it is Kenny Mack, and I am going to be positive about this game. Number one, I'm going, and I spent a buttloads of money, so I want to definitely see a win. And I think they win because this team definitely turns the ball over. That is the Las Vegas Raiders I'm talking about. Their interception rate is 1.03%. I think we actually get some of these interceptions this time. I think the defense will play well, but we got to run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They are giving up 5.4 yards a carry, 152 yards a game so far. Obviously, they're going to look to correct that, but let's get Foreman out there. Let's use him. I know we got to do a game plan, and it's going to be similar to the Steelers. use our field, rely on the field goal kicker, field position, battle, and don't turn the ball over. We can't have any penalties, but we probably will. But the biggest thing is that we need to pass the ball, but we have to get into a rhythm, because that's what's lacking with this. And the rhythm's lacking because we have no offensive line play. And now I'm going to go back to the run game now. How do you make offensive linemen happy? Run the ball, get them knocking guys off their keisters, and that'll show up in the pass game. Well, that's what I got, guys. One last thing. Stefanski, 19-7 after a loss. So we got this, boys. Oof.
I like Kenny Mack's enthusiasm for the game. I myself also spent more money than I wanted to for this trip, so I need the Brownies to pull out a big win here. This will be my first Browns away game at a pretty cool stadium, so I'm excited for it. I'll be a lot more excited if the Browns play well. So just to kind of kick off what we think the Browns need to do, just to piggyback off what Kenny Mack was talking about, I think it would behoove us, to quote John Nye likes to use the word behoove a lot. So it would behoove us to establish a run game. All of Deshaun's tenure so far to this point in Cleveland, I've been very pro playing a system and a style that fits his strengths, and being a wide open 10, 11 personnel, let him run around, play backyard football, make plays, that kind of stuff. As we stand here today, I almost think we need to change expectations for the quarterback position. And I think Deshaun can we need to say, you need to play in a Stefanski style offense in terms of, we're going to put Nick Harrison at fullback. We're going to throw 2 tight ends out there, 3 tight ends sometimes. And we're going to go back to the marriage between the run game and the pass game, where passes look like runs, runs look like passes, keep the defense on their toes in terms of second guessing, run the ball, even if obviously we don't have Nick Chubb, but against these teams that aren't very good against the run, at least run it enough to keep them honest, to keep them respecting it. That way that opens up your play action passing game. I just don't know if, and we talked about this at length in our reaction episode, as well as just on social media, going back and forth with people throughout the week. I don't know if Deshaun is capable of playing that style of offense anymore. I also don't think our line is capable of playing that style of offense right now. If Deshaun was playing at a higher level, we could get away with a little bit of a sorry offensive line, because he would be more athletic, more explosive, get rid of the ball quicker. He would hide some of that stuff. But the combination of Deshaun's not necessarily seeing the field as well as he needs to be, not playing great, line isn't blocking, so he doesn't have any extra time to process information because they're just getting beat right away. It's killing our running game, being in these empty sets and not even trying to run the ball. It's killing us on offense. You know what I mean? And that's just, I know we're sitting at 1-2, but one team in our division is 0-3, another team is 1-2, and they have the Bills coming up, who look like maybe the best team in football. The Steelers are the only team poised to run away with this thing. And I think we all on this show were higher on the Steelers than a lot of people in the offseason. But their schedule, like ours, it's absolutely brutal after their bye week. Okay? So this, as bad as it's been for the Browns so far, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it is still a long way to go. And if they can right the ship, there's still stuff to play for this year. It's only been 3 weeks, okay? And the whole division is down right now. So in order to do that, I think we have to we got to revert back to what Stefanski knows best. It might not be what I want long-term. I might, if Deshaun's not here long-term, which that's, for postseason kind of talk and whatnot, I would love to see an athletic, explosive quarterback back there that we can run, Chief style, almost a commander style now with Jaden Daniels type offense. But we got to fit this offense to the personnel we have right now. So I'd like to see us, let's turn back the clock a little bit. Let's go back 2023, 2022, get into some of this 12-13 play action boot, precision-based timing offense, easy throws, screen passes. Get back to the stuff that Stefanski knows well and that this team has done well in the past, and just try to right this ship and get a big win on the road.
I agree 100%. Yep. I see you guys in the audience here with your hands up. Keep them up. We're going to get to you guys here in just a few minutes. my, I guess, 2 cents on the game. I think this is going to be a low scoring kind of a drag it out kind of thing. The Raiders averaging 19.3 points per game. Browns are at 16.7. So neither team is even averaging 20. The Raiders dead last in the league at rushing, just 51 yards per game. So this is a game where the defensive line could probably go ahead and just really get after Gardner Minshew. They really struggle running the ball. So let's limit what they can do passing, because they have the third most or fourth most passing yards in the entire league. Gardner Minshew's been lighting it up. Aiden O'Connell came in last week kind of in garbage time and put up some yards, but they throw the ball and they can move the ball that way. So we've got to be ready for that. Let's see, our defense, I mean, we're kind of middle of the pack in terms of yards per game, 309 that we're giving up. They're giving up the third most yards per game at 378. So there's yardage to be had on this defense. It's just a matter of, can the offense move the ball? And I'm with Kenny Mack 100%. I mean, the Raiders struggle against the run, and we got to go back to what we did in Jacksonville. We got to get D'Onta Foreman those carries, and we can't be out there running the ball 10 freaking times with our running backs. It's got to be, I mean, and we got to get him out there ripping off chunks too, like he did in Jacksonville. So I'd really like to see Jerome Ford kind of relegated to that, change of pace, passing down, long yardage type of role, and let D'Onta Foreman get the early down work, because I have more confidence in him getting 3, 4, 5 yards on first down than I do Jerome Ford. I mean, we've seen that the entire time Jerome Ford's been the lead back. It's first down, now you're at second and 9 more times than not. So those are kind of the things that I want to see on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you, Josh, as far as keep them, and Blake said it too, keep them honest with the run. Maybe Njoku plays this week. Me and Josh were talking. I'm like, not only would it be huge just offensively as a weapon, but just as far as like somebody to actually block. I don't think we can just keep leaving 5 offensive linemen back there and just letting teams just blitz. So the Raiders, they blitz 47% of the time. That's third most in the NFL. I would expect them to continue that, especially if they look at any of the film from the last 3 days, they should know that if we have 5 offensive linemen and that's it, man, there's opportunities for them to get sacks. Max Crosby's not playing, he's not practicing, but I would fully expect him in, and he's probably watching film and licking chops. Now, I'd try to contain him.
Christian
He's a
Wilkins.
game wrecker. I mean, they got some guys on the edge that can get pressure. As far as defense, I'm with you guys. Their run game is awful. Zamir White has been a super huge disappointment this year for that team. So, but as far as like playmakers, they got a lot of guys. They got Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker is even a really, really nice receiver. Not a lot of people know about him. But see if you can kind of limit those guys, shut down their run game. Kind of don't let Gardner Minshew cook. Every time we've seen him absolutely dice us up, he's had some turnovers. I think he has 3 so far. So make him one-dimensional, get some pressure on him, and get some sacks, get some turnovers.
We saw the Browns get diced up by Gardner Minshew last year when he was in Indy, but we also got to him a bunch. I mean, Myles Garrett completely took over that game on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I said somebody, Andrew said over here that I love Minshew magic. I'm a big Gardner Minshew fan. I think he can play football at a very above average to decent level if he's at a good team. If you stick him on the worst team in football, I don't think he's going to carry you. But I think he can play high-level football when he's got good people around him. He can get rid of the ball. He makes good decisions, that kind of stuff. Like you said, though, he does have 3 picks already this year. I think that's something that we can capitalize on. Hopefully, like Kenny Mack said, we start converting some of these near turnovers into actual turnovers. I will say, based on the run game, I'm with you in terms of I'd like to see D'Onta Foreman get that early down work. The only reason I can see that not happening is because Jerome Ford's averaging 5 yards a carry this year on almost double the carries that D'Onta Foreman has. D'Onta Foreman's only averaging 2.9 yards per carry. That's abysmal. But I think part of that, like we saw in week 2, when you give D'Onta Foreman that battering ram kind of role, and you let Jerome Ford come in as more of the relief back, and when the defense has got the box packed and he can run his sweeps, that's when he's the most effective. But Jerome Ford is actually, you can make the argument, Jerome Ford has been our best offensive player this year.
Yeah, I think his average might be a little inflated just because, like, I mean, in Jacksonville, he had like a 30-yard run on that fourth down play. I don't disagree, though. I mean, I just would like to see him used a little less because I think he gets worn down, and whenever he's got his explosion and burst, and he just get him in space. Just get Jerome Ford, get the ball in space. And I don't know how they do that, but they got to figure it out.
I'd like to see them, and obviously none of these guys are Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but the old Chunt, you know what I mean? You had that combo. Kareem Hunt would come in and kind of punish a little bit, and then you'd have, Nick Chubb with finesse and explosive, and just there was change of pace between the two backs. I'd like to see that. I like Foreman a lot. He kind of the punisher out there as far as like, he's kind of a mauler. I like him a lot. But I'm with you guys. We gotta at least run the ball. We cannot just abandon the run.
No, not at all.
Pastor Rob says over the last 3 games, he'd say Judy's been our best offensive player. It was either Ford or Judy for me, and probably Judy won. But I think anybody could make a reasonable argument for Ford also. But I agree. None of the guys that you thought were going to be our best players have been our best players.
Yeah, that's the truth. The very sad truth.
I thought Amari bounced back nice last week.
Amari did bounce back. Now I would like to see him stack a couple.
Overall as the season over 3 games, I completely understand where you're coming from, but if he continues that kind of play, I would say wheels up on Amari.
Tony says it seems like Judy and Watson have a good connection. Dude, it's because they've been on the field together since voluntary OTAs. I mean, I know a lot of these vets don't report until, the mandatory OTAs and training camp and stuff, but there's something to be said. And I don't know how much we want to talk about injuries and stuff, but me and Justin were talking before the show. I mean, good Lord, we got 17 people on the freaking injury report today. We have the most injuries on our report out of the entire NFL. I went and looked today because I was like, this is ridiculous. So I don't know. I think preseason approach and philosophy may have to change in the future.
Woof.
Pastor Up says we report everything, though. Well, technically you're supposed to, but there's something to be said about the fact that we're only 3 weeks in and Miles has like 3 or 4 injuries already. I mean, we're 3 weeks in. We couldn't even, our Jack Conklin couldn't even get through a week of practice before re-injuring a different body part. You know what I mean? Like, I know this is supposed to be a game preview and I don't want to stray too much into just off-topic stuff, but the Browns' entire like strength and conditioning and the way they approach rehab and the medical side of playing football has to be looked at, because it is insane how many injuries the Browns sustain every single year. And what's crazy about it is how many of them are soft tissue injuries.
Yeah. Big news, Dog Pack. We are thrilled to announce we have a partnership now with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of our favorite sports books and get the best odds and new user offers this NFL season. Head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, to explore a whole selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings for you. If you guys are ready to take your sports betting to the next level this NFL season, head over to signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, and check out the new user offers and the best odds on all the sports books. That's signupexpert.com/dogs. Hey, Browns fans, have you guys ever tried to explain football to a little kid? It's near impossible to make the game of football make sense. First downs and punts and field goals and scoring and all that kinds of stuff. Meet Future Fans, an innovative brand that helps little kids become big fans by embedding the rules of football into parallel games and activities. The way future fans teach the game of football is so unique and effective. As an example, they've created a beanbag toss game with 4 tries to teach how first downs work in football, and then later connect those games back to the sport itself through a storybook that you read with your kids. Seriously, go check out the reviews of this thing. They have a 4.9 on Amazon. Imagine having your kid asked to watch football on Sundays with you, where all the ups and downs with your favorite team, Browns. That's what dreams are made of, though, right there, and future fans exist to make them a reality. So if you want your kids to understand football, Future Fans is for you. It's only $49.99 when you go to futurefans.com, use the code DOGS, and get 10% off. Unlock a lifetime of memories with the kids in your life starting now.
New Balance recently announced the addition of All-American Cooper Flag to the NB family, joining Cameron Brink and an elite player roster in the brand's mission of growing the game with the next generation of athletes. In part of New Balance's ongoing commitment to supporting athletes off the court, the Boston-based brand plans to work with Cooper on community initiatives in his home state of Maine. To shop the two-way V5, Hesi-Lo V2, and all New Balance basketball products, visit newbalance.com today.
At Kroger Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. CARE is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Kroger Pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Kroger Health, a world of care, is in store. Visit Kroger.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.
I agree, man.
So, I know we had another voicemail. Did we want to?
Well, the voicemail was from Peter, and he currently has his hand up in the audience. So I think rather than playing the voicemail, Peter, why don't we just, if we're ready for it here, I'll go ahead and get him up on stage, and we'll let him give us his thoughts. If my Discord will work. There we are.
There you go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, yeah, I'll get to the voicemail that I sent in for the show the other day real quick. But I just want to say, Blake, I 100% agree with having to kind of revert the offense back to what Kevin, his 12-13 personnel run heavy play action, because it's easier to run. And I understand what they were trying to do with changing things up with Ken Dorsey's style of offense. But it won't work if Watson's not reading the place and things aren't working at an elite level with him. It just won't work. I just don't see it. And if he doesn't change something quick, and I don't think it's going to happen, I don't know what the point I don't know what the point is where the coaching staff will realize he's not going to hit it and they'll have to revert back. But I don't know, man. It's tough. I'm not sure how long it'll take. Like, if we lose this next game, will they do it? What do you think?
So I talked about this on the reaction video to the Giants game, and I said if he continues to play this poorly, you have to at least have the talk about making some kind of change at the quarterback position, because you risk losing the locker room. And is you can't stand in front of the other 52 guys and say this guy gives us the best chance to win. Yeah, like there's, you know what I mean. So I don't know what the final straw will be. Think right now you can kind of use the line as a crutch. Like, he's not playing well because we're not protecting him well enough. We've had drop passes and that. I mean, you can obviously watch the game and tell he's not playing well, but there's things we can crutch on to kind of excuse it away a little bit. I do think if we start protecting better, we go to some more play action, get Nick Harrison at fullback, establish a run game, and he's still not seeing the field, still sailing balls. Like, he's not going to have much more to lean on in terms of, I don't want to call him an excuse, but outside reasons other than himself of why the offense isn't performing. So I don't know what it is. It's a tough situation because, I mean, you brought the guy in, be the face and to be the guy. And we heard Andrew Berry say it was supposed to be a 10-year plan. And at this point, we don't know if it's going to get through the third year, honestly. So, I'm hoping none of this matters. I'm hoping that he comes out this week and we look like a brand new team and something clicked and we figured stuff out and we come out inspired. We play a good football game and we look great on offense. But till I see it happen, I'm going to be very hesitant and not get myself too hopeful, because I don't want to be not ready to be hurt again already.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Because like either Watson's got to see this better, or we got to flip it. Or if they think Jameis can see and do these RPOs, then you got to put him in. I mean, we can't just keep embarrassing ourselves. We won't win a Super Bowl with Kevin's old offense and Watson playing that way, but at least we won't be a disgrace like we are right now on offense. It's ugly.
Yeah,
it is the worst I've ever seen.
Hard to watch.
So
yeah, it's really tough.
Real quick, I was just going to say, like, Gage in the chat said, how is the Raiders secondary? And for me, I know we usually do like keys to the game toward the end or whatever, but I don't know if the secondary necessarily matters that much, because if the defensive front gets the pressure and Deshaun is holding the ball again, it's just going to be the same that we've seen so far, because he's got one of the longest time to throws. He doesn't get rid of the ball quickly, and he's going to get sacked. Like 8 sacks by the Giants. I know the offensive line isn't holding protection, and sometimes they just let guys blow by him. But also, when you're holding the ball for 3 seconds or more on average, like, you're going to get sacked. You got to get rid of the ball. He's got to know where he's going with it and make a play. So, yeah, that's big.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him take a big step forward pre-snap. A lot of this holding the ball is identifying keys when you come up to the line of scrimmage. That way you know where to go with the ball. And I don't know if you guys, like, Dan Orlovsky put that play out on that RPO, and he talked about like the read, and he had Akins wide open for probably 15 to 20. And I originally, Deshaun said the read was Judy, and they cut Judy off, but the read isn't Judy. The read is the safety.
Yep.
No, you're watching the safety, and that he is the read. He dictates where you're going to go with the ball. If he comes down, you go to Akins. If he goes around, then you know you got Judy on the slant. And it's like, I don't know if he doesn't see that stuff pre-snap. Like, that's the kind of stuff that helps you get rid of the ball quicker, is identifying that stuff pre-snap. They're blitzing us like crazy, and if he could identify it, if Amazon can identify it, my quarterback should be able to, and then get us into a play. Or, you beat the blitz by throwing into the blitz. So if you identify, signal your receiver a head tap or something, he runs a hot route, and you burn it. Now they can't do it every single play. So I'd like to see him take a huge step forward in terms of pre-snap recognition, in terms of what he's seen from the defense. I think that would do wonders for the offense.
I agree, because they did that same exact RPO for when he hit Judy to set it up for the touchdown, but the defense was totally different, and he just didn't do it. So I don't know, man. But I'll say my piece on the voicemail, and I'll step down for Pastor Rob. But basically what it was the silver lining is, even if this blows up and we end up drafting Quinn Ewers with like the 5th overall pick or something, I don't think that they'll fire AB and Kevin. So, and I have a lot of confidence in them, like keeping the young players on the roster and keeping us from being a joke like we were for 20 straight years. So that's the silver lining to all this. It's not total, death of the whole organization if this season is ruined, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. I think it'd had to go really bad off the rails, I think, for one of those guys to be gone.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean, if you lose the locker room, especially guys that are locked in for years, don't want to play for the coach.
Especially though,
I would be shocked, though. You know what I mean? I'd be shocked. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, if Haslam behind the scenes pushed for the Watson deal, it's hard to fire AB and Kevin for the Watson deal not working out. You know what I mean? If he was who pushed for it. So we'll see. I know Gage said Shedeur Sanders. I want nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders on the Browns. I'm tired of dealing with drama. I want somebody who is shy and afraid to look at cameras.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had that.
Neuer plays behind a crap offensive line and makes big-time plays and loses 70% of his games, and then talks crap afterwards about how good he is, even though they lose all their games. I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, going to what Peter was talking about there, and it kind of plays to what Kenny said in his voicemail. Like, Kevin Stefanski, 19-7 after a loss. I think he's, 20 straight wins after a loss now for Kevin Stefanski or something like that. I forget what the stat is. The dude bounces back, and if we've learned anything about Kevin over the years, and we've had him for years now, is that he can unite a locker room. He can bring guys together. He can get men to go out there and fight. It hasn't happened yet so far this year, and I don't know what the disconnect is and where it's all stemming from, but I do have faith that if somebody's going to fix it, we got the right coach to get it fixed. It's just a matter of identifying the problem, getting the solution in place and getting everybody to buy in, which he has been able to do before.
Yeah, and at least the players aren't like, they've had plenty of opportunities to throw each other under the bus in the press conferences. They haven't done that. And it's not like the receivers aren't open. You know, it's only Watson missing them and not throwing with anticipation. So I hope he wouldn't lose everyone.
Right.
But I guess if he keeps putting them out there and he keeps getting worse, then you might.
And
so I don't know.
You know, you saw last week he went over and I can't remember if it was on the field whenever he was, I don't know if he was mic'd up or if it was after the game or whatever, when he was telling Cedric Tillman, like, hey, I'm going to keep coming to you. Like, so you drop that pass. Let's just get up and go. Let's keep going, you know? So,
yep.
You know, and obviously Cedric Tillman was frustrated with himself. Like, that's a play you got to make, you know, in that situation. Yep. So nobody was pointing fingers, blaming, throwing under the bus. So that was good.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
Yeah, I guess it's, well, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just going to
say,
Peter.
Based on how bad things have been, we've still been in 2 of these games. Yeah, and we won one of them. You know what I mean? So, like, if this is absolute sky is falling and we're 1-2 and tied for second place in the division right now, I've watched some wild years of Cleveland Browns football. I would expect improvement. You know what I mean? That's where I'm more shocked than anything. We're 3 weeks in and we haven't seen it yet. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with the whole thing. I would expect eventually this thing turns around.
Yeah. So, Pastor Rob, you are on stage. What's going on, man?
Yep. Hi, guys. As you know, I am the dissenting opinion in the in the Discord at the moment, with me and Blake having a conversation of him being on one side and me on the other. And it's basically what you were just talking about. So I'm on the opposite side, which is I think that we have not changed from last year. The offense that we ran last year is basically what we're running this year. There's no Ken Dorsey added effect. I'm yet to see it. The only thing I can see that's different from the offense we run last year to the offense we run this year is we're not doing end arounds. That's the only difference. That's a good thing.
I just don't like, we were leading the league in 12 and 13 personnel last year, and we almost never have 2 tight ends on the field this year.
Not last year. Last year we basically only run David out there. We ran Brian on for doing quarterback sneaks, and what's his name?
Can you tell me what offense we're watching right now, though? Is this with Joe Flacco? It was play action, boot, rollouts. We haven't ran a play action.
We weren't running 12. We weren't running 12 personnel, Blake, though. Last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 100%, massively. We were 12, 13 personnel. We were like compact, run it down their face, crazy zone running, and like that's what we were doing. We were ground and pound and take the easy shots. That's what we did for many years under Kevin. Last year, we were that. It was a very shaky, weird thing. And even when Flacco came back in, we were still only running Njoku. We were only running one tight end, even towards the end. I thought we run more 12 when he came back, but it wasn't. We didn't like bring on the extra tight end. We just ran. We ran every now and again. We would run the extra halfback. So we'd run what's his name, our center, Nick Harris. We'd run Harris out there. That was the only time we ever got like heavy personnel. It's really weird.
He's still, even in terms though, so even if we only had one tight end, last year we ran the ball 518 times. We only ran the ball 600, or threw the ball 624. We were like 60, 55, 45 split in terms of passing and running. This year we're on pace for about, we might run the ball 80 times this year.
Yeah, Deshaun leads in dropbacks.
The way we're on pace. And like Peter's saying in the chat, we almost never went empty. And we definitely almost never went 5-man protection last year. That's almost totally going exclusively in this year.
I think that's based around the backs that we actually have on like at the moment. Although I don't know why we're not running Foreman more, because that heavy set back, that like play to the strengths of the way Kevin wants to run his offense, because at the moment I'm seeing no Ken Dorsey at all. I've not seen any of the stuff he ran in Buffalo, and the stuff he ran in Buffalo would work here, but I don't know, we're not running it. We're running this very vanilla, it's a really strange offense we're running. It's like he's went back 20 years and thought, do you know what? I'm going to run a 1998 Dallas Cowboys offense in the 2024. It's like, what are you doing? It's the most...
Yeah, it's almost like they don't realize preseason's over and it's okay. You don't have to try to hide stuff anymore. Like, it's time to show it.
It is really strange, isn't it, Josh? They're like, it's this vanilla, but it's an old vanilla as well. It's like been on the shelf for like years. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why did you pull that out of the cupboard?
It's expired vanilla,
nobody's doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And people are just like, well, if you're going to run that, we're going to just blitz you. We're just going to blitz you and blitz you and blitz you, and you're going to be 30 yards back on your first down. What? Like, it's very strange. I don't understand what they're doing, and I don't understand any of the progressions that they're trying to do.
Well,
it's really, 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 really strange.
We don't understand what they're doing, and half the time the players don't look like they understand what's going on either. And I mean, I talked about this on Wednesday. The last time I saw players looking confused and, not communicating and lost out there on the field was when Joe Woods was the D coordinator and was on the defensive side of the ball. So now we're seeing it on offense.
Do you know what players look like? Is when they're on offense, they look like they've been rigidly told, right, you've got to run 10 yards, then you've got to hook, then you've got to move this way. And it's like all very rigid. And if they don't do it right, they're like, oh, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing now because I'm not on the exact rail that I'm supposed to be on. It's there's no flex to it at all. It's very, you must run this route. You must do this.
Yeah,
you must do that. It's like,
it does look weird.
I do think it's concerning that the current pace we are running the football, we're on pace to run it 396 times this season. Actually, less. That would be 18 games. I'm not good enough in math to adjust it for only the 17th game. So, but in some of those runs are Deshaun scrambles.
Yes,
we're almost on pace to run the ball almost 200 less times than we did last year.
Yeah,
it's not like we were ripping off big chunks last year, but we ran it. We were at least consistent in attempting to run it enough to keep defenses honest. That way enough too, like I said, that you could have that marriage between the run and the pass where it frees up the linebackers. At least make them think for a second that they're going to run it. You get them playing downhill, then you can hit them with something behind them. So the entire offensive philosophy, in my opinion, needs to change. No matter whose offense it is, we're not operating at a level high enough to do that kind of stuff. Up front, at quarterback, I don't even think our wide receivers are good enough in terms of, we don't have a dude. Amari Cooper's very solid, obviously, but like we don't have a guy that you're just afraid of. We don't have a Jefferson. We don't have a Malik Neighbors. We don't have a Jamar Chase. Like, we got to get back to what this team has done well in the past, because we don't have anybody that can operate at a high enough level to run this offense, in my opinion, what we're trying to do. Pastor Rob.
Turn that camera on. This
is the first time I've ever put the name to the face to the name.
The face to the accent.
It's like the tire. What time is it there? I think I'm getting harassed. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm getting harassed.
Oh, it's not bad.
Jeez.
It's not too bad. The pubs, they just shut them down, right?
Well, I live in Edinburgh, so technically pubs don't shut. There's such a thing in Edinburgh as a postie pub. So a pub for the postman, and it starts at like 4 a.m. So
you need that. You just
stay up a little bit longer.
You just move from one type of pub to a different type of pub. And I did have a point when you were talking, Blake, but you had a good role going there, so I just left you.
Go ahead. What was it? My bad.
No, I totally forgot now. So you obviously covered it all over.
Well, here,
I think it was joking.
I was going to say, let's get we'll get Andrew Jackson up here. He's got his hand up, and then if you remember what you were going to say, Pastor Rob, get on back up here, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, what's going on, you beautiful mother truckers?
Yo!
Now, where's your pretty face at?
Huh?
Where's your pretty face at? We got to see Pastor Rob.
Hey, look, we trying to put that on camera for the internet to see tonight.
Like eating chips and dip off his bare chest.
No, we're balls deep in something else. But hey, yeah. But anyway, I got two questions for you, for you guys. So one of the big offseason acquisitions or signings was Tommy Rees. What is he doing? I mean, he was a mediocre quarterback at Notre Dame. He was something at Alabama with Nick Saban. What does he bring into this offense? Because, I mean, everyone talks about Ken Dorsey, this, that, and the other, and Kevin Stefanski. What is he doing? And also, like, not being from the area and, like, having to deal with, like, the local media constantly, unless I search it out. How much longer do you think it's going to take before, say they lose this weekend, before the media starts like, hey, we have a first-round pick. We should go for a quarterback this year. Like, how long do you before that becomes that narrative? And it's just very overwhelming to where it's like, it's just too much.
Well, to address your second point first, it's what?
We're there.
It's Thursday night, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If he looks terrible on Sunday, I'll say about 3 days, and that's where it'll be reaching that point. If we keep losing, and especially if we fall to 1-3 and the quarterback's not playing well, I mean, that's how they're going to make their money. They're going to get their clicks, and that's exactly what it's going to be. And for the first time ever, like, I don't know if I'll be able to blame them, because it's not like there's good stories to write about the team right now in terms of how we're playing or our future outlooks. The only thing to give us any kind of hope is the future. So if he continues to play poorly and the offense continues to struggle, you're definitely going to see that, like, as for sure. They're chomping at the bit to type that stuff up. In terms of Tommy Rees, he's our tight ends coach, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So, and I guess you could say Jordan Akins has been better this year than he was last year. I mean, maybe like he's like a lone bright spot. I thought he played pretty well this past week against the Giants. Joku hasn't had a chance to really play much this year with the injury. So, but no, I don't think he can be undersold how disappointing the offense is, because it was Dickerson. Like, we all thought he was going to be a good replacement for Callie, and obviously you don't replace a Hall of Famer, but we all thought he could step in and do a good job. We were excited for Deuce Staley. I don't know. I'm not disappointed in what Deuce Staley's bringing to the table, because I think Jerome Ford looks better this year than he arguably ever has. But between, Tommy Rees is supposed to be an innovative guy who came in and helped spruce up the offense. Dorsey was supposed to do all this stuff. We were just supposed to see this conglomeration of all these offensive minds. And I don't even know what we're trying to do. That's how bad it is. Like, you can't even watch a Browns football game right now and say, well, I can see what they're trying to do. I don't know what our identity is. I don't know. We're not a good passing team. We're not a good running team. We're not a good blocking team. Like, I don't know what our identity is.
Here's kind of what you just said made me think of visualizing this team and all this offensive input we got in the season to redesign this thing. It was like when my kid plays with Play-Doh and he's got the red and the blue and the green and the yellow and the orange. It's like all these really great colors. And he's like, let's just mix them all together. And it's gray. It's just ugly, bland gray when they're all mixed together. It's kind of what we're seeing right now. Like, I don't know if that's, a direct result of too many cooks in the kitchen, but the offense just, it's ugly. It is very ugly. This episode is brought to you by Bodden Sports. Browns fans, Baden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Baden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Baden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs.
Sure. The last I heard too, as far as with Tommy, Vrabel was also overseeing some of the tight end stuff. So, I mean, I know during the week he's doing game plan stuff, I'm sure, with coaches and, but for seeing some of these guys, like you said, we went in thinking, man, this is going to be a reimagined version of the Cleveland Browns offense. Like, how exciting is it going to be? We're finally going to see us kind of air it out, like the air raid. We're going to just throw it all over the place. And I just don't know. I don't know. For 3 years, I've heard that. And I'm kind of, I'm starting to think we're just not ever going to get that, honestly. Just to be honest, when you watch the games longer than 10 yards, I'm kind of shocked when they do it because I'm so used to them just running, 4-yard, button to Jordan Akins, I feel like that's our best play right now, or a little slant to Judy here and there for 5 yards. Nothing is explosive. And I don't know if it's because we don't have the guys to go over the top. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because we're in 1st and 20 half the time. So it's just one of those things where I do think that if we go into this game and we absolutely don't run the ball at all, and then we're doing play action when we've attempted 8 rushing yards and rushing attempts in the fourth quarter, I'm going to be like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
We look stupid. We look like we're trying to outthink everybody in the room, and we look like we're just the guy that is just stupid, I think we try to just be too cute and over smart things sometimes, and it's not it.
Yeah, we got Tony the Italian on stage real quick. So Tony, we got you, and then we'll get Pastor Rob. He must have remembered what his point was, and then we'll probably wrap her up after that.
Yeah, I have a good question for you guys. Depending on how this week goes against the Raiders, and really I'll say the Commanders as well, because they'll be up until Philly. Say we go into these games and we look like, and I say look like very harshly because I don't think there's much you can really change right now, but look like we're at least starting to get a little bit better, or at least things are starting to make more sense. With all the injuries that we're having, a lot of these guys go on IR. I mean, Teller especially. Hopefully Zinter does very good. I mean, he looked decently, in the past game. But when do we think Andrew Berry comes out and starts working his magic again to at least start filling some of these holes, or at least try to make this team better? Because I think even with the healthy offensive line, I think we still need more depth there, and it's kind of been evident with a lot of these guys getting older and getting hurt. And, same thing, on the defensive side as well, where, where does Barry actually start coming out and making some of these trades to make this team a little bit better, or at least, fill in a lot of these holes that we're going to be missing for a few weeks?
I think it all depends on wins and losses, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say, if we come out, go ahead, Blake. Yep, you got it.
Say if we win a few, and we go on a little bit of a run, we win 3 or 4, 2 in a row, or 2 or 3, and it looks like just a couple little pieces will help solidify some things, and then we could really make a push at the playoffs. then I could see something happening. If we come out and we lose 3 straight, I think might see a fire sale. Let's get ready for next year. There's still tackles out there that I don't understand why they're not in the building, at least working out for the team. Like the dude from Green Bay is still just sitting out there. Bakhtiari, or however you say his last name. Now he's been injury prone the last couple of years. He'll fit right in. Like I don't understand. Kevin said that they plan to address the tackle situation and bring somebody in. I don't know if their plan was just elevating the dude they elevated, however you say his name, Ifardi. Feedy. Like,
I know that silent R that's not there.
If that was the move they were talking about, but there's guys out there that could help solidify the line. I don't know why we're so hesitant to do that, and we just continue to trot James Hudson and other practice squad players out.
Yeah, I don't know. So we got Pastor Rob remembered his point, and then we'll get Truth. You got your hand up just in time. We'll get you up here to close it out after Pastor Rob's done here.
I was going to ask. So I have 3 questions. One of them I think you can probably ignore. One is the defense. Do you think that Schwartz is getting away at the moment because the offense is so bad that the defense is getting a very easy run at the moment because they're not playing very well? They're doing very bad, and he is very predictable in the way he is calling his plays because it's like all or nothing. And because we've got guys that are athletic enough, they can sometimes cover up some of this stuff, but it's not very looking good on defense at the moment compared to last year. Do you think they're hiding underneath it? That's my first question. The second one was, if we did retool, do you think we can come out of this with the players that we've got currently? Because a lot of these guys are old. A retool would be 1 year down and then another year up. And then my final question was on the big actual game that we're coming into. What do you think? How do you think we beat this team? I'll leave you with all of them. That's quite a lot of nonsense for you.
I'll take the first one.
Yeah, go for it.
I think we look like a team that didn't play any preseason games and came in kind of not ready to roll. As far as I think all sides of the ball, you know what I mean? I think we don't really look like we have a lot of chemistry, and I expect that to completely improve. I will be shocked if, down the road, we're still talking about the defense is struggling really bad, offense struggling really bad. But that's my big thing. I wouldn't say that. I know what you mean as far as when you look at it and stuff like that, they have been gashed a little bit, but I think a lot of it is situationally. They're on the field a lot, all the damn time in a few of these games. And even then, we shut them out the second half. You know what I mean? Adjustments were made. I thought they looked better and did the offense to, make a couple plays, and we just didn't get there 100%. So I will say I'm not really worried about the defense as far as moving forward. I think that's at least there's some consistency there.
And I'll go ahead, Josh. I was just going to answer the second question real fast and let you kind of take over the rest of it, Blake. But as far as retooling, I don't really even want to discuss it right now because we're 1-2 going into week 4. It's early. We're not even a quarter of the way into the season. They string a couple wins together here and start looking a little better, and all of a sudden, we got good control in the division. We got to let this thing play out before we do too much of that.
Winning sure is a lot.
Just to talk about the defense, they maybe have not been quite as dominant, but they've still played pretty well, especially in terms of points per game. Dallas scored 33, but they were on the field that entire game. They got, and I think that we had a turnover or two. We had 2 turnovers. First of all, we have 9 sacks this year, so we're averaging 3 sacks a game, I believe. And then in terms of points, we gave up 33 to Dallas, but then we gave up 21 and 18. So has it looked as dominant? Like we're keeping quarterbacks to under 100 yards passing, and
I think Jacksonville was what 13 points.
13 in the job.
Yeah, I was looking
even better.
So we've given up 21 points and 13 points. Has the defense been week 1 against the Bengals last year or the Titans game dominant? Maybe not, but they played plenty well enough for us to win football games. You know what I mean? Like, I know the Giants had a good first half, but, you're adjusting to Daniel Jones. Everybody craps on Daniel Jones, and I'm not saying he's very good, but he was banged up a lot last year. 2 years ago, he got paid because he played. Did he make the Pro Bowl? I don't remember if he made the Pro Bowl or he was fringe, but he got paid because he played so well. And Brian Daboll is a good offensive coach, and Malik Neighbors is an absolute stud. So it's not wild to think it's going to take 2 quarters to make an adjustment on what they're doing offensively and how you want to defend a certain player who is dominant, and then come out and just completely shut them down for a half of football and just keep giving your offense chances to win the game. There's things they need to clean up. I don't think we're tackling in space quite as well as we did last year, and that kind of stuff. But the defense, like Justin said, he says it's the beginning of the year kind of stuff. This, to me, seems like normal beginning of the year, shaking the rust off, getting into a rhythm, getting your mojo, that kind of stuff. They've still played plenty well enough for us to have won at least 2 of these first 3 games. In terms of a rebuild, like Josh said, I think you got your core guys like JOK, Del Pitt. Obviously, Miles is going to stick around. And you'll see, and I think that maybe Judy would stay around. Obviously, we just extended him, but Cooper would be gone. Elijah Moore would be gone. Everybody not named Nick Chubb in the backfield would probably be gone. Maybe Ford sticks around. I think there's about 5 or 6 guys, and the rest of it would be whole fire sale looking to replace. And then in terms of how we win this game, we'll have penalties. Won't let Max Crosby dictate the game in terms of just living in your backfield. We have to get some positive yards sometimes, and to give the defense a chance. And I think can make them one-dimensional, which they already are. Zamir White averages like 1 yard a rush. Okay, don't let Alexander Mattinson kill you out of the backfield, which we struggle with screens, and he's having a good season, not necessarily running the ball, but he's pretty good out of the backfield catching these screen passes. And then obviously Devontae Adams is still a very solid receiver, so don't let him have a vintage Devontae game. But I think you got to take care of the ball. You got to pressure him on defense, and we just have to get some kind of rhythm on offense. Like, I think we can score 18 points and you win this football game. I think is completely reasonable. I think the defense can hold them. So that's how I see it's got to go. We got to get some kind of rhythm on offense.
Yeah, I agree. Brad, you want to close us out tonight, buddy?
No, we are so back, boys. We are back. Welcome to the Cleveland Clowns. We are back. It's back in mid-season form, guys. Back to the media saying, we're just going to fire everybody and start all over again. Man, this just feels like the early 2000s all over again. But honestly, I will leave you guys with some positive notes. You know what? We're 1-2, right? Okay. Let's not lose to the biker gang of the NFL this weekend. Okay. It's the Raiders. Okay. They don't even have a real starting quarterback. They got a dude that wears a mullet starting a quarterback. I don't care.
You show some respect.
I don't care. We're going to beat that mullet wearing dude. And we're going to be 2-2 after this weekend. You know what? I'm going to say right now, 15-2. Starting right now. 15-2. Right now.
I like it. That's what we need to wrap this episode up.
We're starting right now.
Touch on your point, all the Cleveland Cloud stuff, fan base. I feel like we just gotta we got to just calm down. We can't just absolutely have a mental breakdown 3 games into the season. And just, sometimes you got to have a little bit of thick skin and like some resilience. You know what I mean? Build character out here. Jesus, guys. But yes, we're going to be fine, 15-2. But Gardner,
I tell you the way it was, he said it felt like the early 2000s again. I said, you mean it feels like the early 2000s, the middle 2000s, the late 2000s. It feels like the last 2.5 decades. Is that what you meant? But no, I appreciate you coming in and giving us some positive vibes heading into the weekend. And we need that going out there. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. It's getting late for us, even later for Pastor Rob. He's got to head to the 4 a.m. pub. Yeah, but we appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, to all the Dog Pack members who stop in, make these episodes awesome. We appreciate you guys doing this with us. It's super fun getting your guys' thoughts on these episodes, putting them out there, letting you guys get some of the limelight. We appreciate everybody who's watching right now, who's sticking with us through the rocky start to a season. We're hoping it's going to get better. We haven't given up. We're scared. We're nervous, but we haven't given up. We're still here. We're still putting out content for you guys. We're still cheering on the Browns. Heck, I'm going to drive fly halfway across the country to cheer them on this weekend. So we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us, watching episodes despite it not going the way we want. Just to give you a little bit of an insight into next week. Obviously, the game is on Sunday. We typically do our lives on Monday. Josh is also going to be on vacation down in Myrtle next week. I'll be out in Vegas still on Monday. We're trying to get the logistics in terms of if we're going to be able to do a live. We don't know if we'll be able to. We'll at least try to get something recorded. I don't know if I'll be on there because with the time difference, but hopefully Josh and Justin will be at least. So we're going to put out something early next week in terms of our reaction to the game. So make sure you guys have the notification bell tapped in case it's not live on Monday night. But just know we haven't left you. We just got 2 of the 3 dogs are going to be, out of state with football equipment in different time zones. So we'll try to make it work next week, but wanted to give you a heads up. It might not be a typical Monday at 6:00 live for this post-game show. But again, we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us throughout this season, supporting the show. And we'll see you guys sometime early next week when we're hopefully talking about a big road win for the Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.
New Balance recently announced the addition of All-American Cooper Flag to the NB family, joining Cameron Brink and an elite player roster in the brand's mission of growing the game with the next generation of athletes. In part of New Balance's ongoing commitment to supporting athletes off the court, the Boston-based brand plans to work with Cooper on community initiatives in his home state of Maine. To shop the two-way V5, Hesi-Lo V2, and all New Balance basketball products, visit newbalance.com today.
At Kroger Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. Care is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Kroger pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Visit Kroger.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.